Are you paying too much in taxes? Elevated Tax and Accounting is a firm that specializes in tax planning and strategy to minimize your tax bill. Elevated Tax consult with you on tax strategy throughout the year, so no more waiting until the end of the year and hoping for the best. As a business owner, you know your sole focus should be spent working on your business, not in it. Outsourcing gives you the time to concentrate on the core reasons you started your company, to create and innovate a top-tier product and generate profits. Elevated Tax and Accounting, elevating you and your business with a modern professional touch.
Our entire team at Ryan & Miller appreciates every client that comes to us. Getting to help them one-on-one with their individual case means the world to us. So thank you to all of our clients who contact us and come to us for their legal services. We appreciate it.
Big Sky Spotlight making the rounds around the Big Sky Conference in football, because why not? It's middle of May, so there's no better time to talk football. Last week we heard from Thomas Ford Jr., the new head coach at Idaho, and now we have second-year UC Davis head coach Tim Plough as our guest. Coach, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm fired up to be here as always. Let's roll.
So, first of all, tell us about spring ball. It's so funny watching the Big Sky because everybody starts at a different time, so you can kind of get tidbits out of various different things. Like, I think Barney wants to be done at Portland State before either of the Montana schools can even think about getting going because it's so snowy and cold and winter up here. You guys got the weather advantage there at Davis. So when did you start? When did you finish? And how did it all go?
Yeah, actually, for the last 6-7 years, we had done our spring ball kind of in the winter, kind of done it in February and March. But, this was the first year we actually did it in spring because, our season had gone so long. And we just feel like our goal is to hopefully be playing in December and January, for the foreseeable future. And if that's the case, doing spring ball in February, March is probably too soon. So we actually started April 1st and went till the end of April. So, but spring was great. We actually had a smaller number of guys because we graduated so many players. And we don't get a lot of transfers at Davis. We don't really do the portal thing. Our transfers are normally graduate transfers. So a lot of our guys are incoming. We probably got about 30, 35 guys joining the team here at the end of June. So we only had about 65, 60 guys that were practicing in spring. And so a lot of young guys getting a lot of reps and but felt like we got a lot accomplished, got better, feel really good about the team, and excited for summer.
Yeah, certain programs in the Big Sky, you're bringing in, anywhere between 5 and 20 mid-year guys, and spring ball is big to acclimate them. But then you're probably moving on from another 15, 20 guys after spring, and you're not necessarily bringing in these big high school recruiting classes, but it's a little bit different there at UC Davis for you guys, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think there's multiple ways that you can handle your roster nowadays. You've seen teams bringing in, 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50 transfers or whatever, and really using the transfer portal. But for us, at high academic school, we really want to build our roster through high school and through high school recruiting. So, we focus on trying to build our roster every year by adding 20, 25 high school guys, and then trying to fill in some gaps with some graduate transfers like we did last year with David Meyer. So got a good amount of defensive graduate transfer guys that are going to join the team in June, and then got our big high school group coming in. So for us, it's about really developing our team every year and building dependable depth. And then hopefully we can add 20, 25 high school guys every year and build teams that play together for 3 or 4 years. So we might not get the big home run transfer portal guys that have a lot of stars and juice behind it. But, we're going to build our team every year and then grow that team together so that they play together for 2, 3, 4 years. And we feel like that's the best way for us to be successful.
Well, it seems like you said, there's so many different ways to do it, but also it seems like the portal is like the forbidden fruit. It seems so tempting to go after, but the fact of the matter is the team that's dominated the subdivision over the last 15 years, North Dakota State, they've done it kind of the old school way, right? By building it from the high school ranks and fortifying with a transfer here or there. But most of the time, it's homegrown players. So do you feel like that's probably the best way to get it done still this day and age?
I don't know if it's the best way to get it done because I think every program has different hurdles that they got to get over,
Sure.
But I think it's the best way for us to get it done because, I think the average Division I team has lost 200 players the last 7 years, right? Through transferring, we've lost 9.
Wow.
We only had 9 guys leave the program and for transferring. And of the 9 guys that left, it was all similar guys. They all graduated, and then they got paid a lot of money to play 1 year somewhere else. And for us, that's awesome. That's a great selling point for us to the next high school guy. Like, hey, come play for us for 3 or 4 years, and this school will pay you $500,000 in 4 years to go play, and you'll have a degree from Davis. So I think for us, we focus on the high school players, and nowadays people don't recruit high schools very much anymore. So we're able to get really good players that maybe 10 years ago we wouldn't have gotten because of all this transfer portal stuff. So that we feel like that's our niche, and that's how we're going to try to build our team.
We had a guy that was sort of in that fold this last year, in Teddy Buchanan. He was a great player for you guys there, and then transferred right before you became the head coach, but went to Cal. But he got drafted high, and I think he has a chance to be a great pro. So you use that in recruiting? How you actually tell the guys, hey, we can help you get there if you come here?
Yeah, I think, again, because, the schools aren't recruiting the high school programs that much anymore, we can tell a guy that, maybe 10 years ago, he would have been a lower Pac-12 guy or maybe a Mountain West guy, and now they're not really recruiting him as much, or maybe they're recruiting him late. If we can develop a relationship with that guy for a year and really paint a picture for him, like, hey, you're going to play for us, you're going to play for championships, you're going to get a great degree. And then at the end of this, shoot, man, if someone wants to pay you a bunch of money and you got your degree, like, why not go do it? You might turn it down. Lan Larison said, I don't want to do it. I want to stay and play. Keelan Doss wanted to stay and play, and they both are going to have long NFL careers. Or you can go like Teddy did. But I promise you, if you talk to Teddy, when he got done at Cal and he was training for the next few months for the NFL draft, where do you think he was training? He was training here with us, So I think that you look at him, you look at McCallan Castles, who plays for the Chargers, was our tight end, went to Tennessee, or Chuba, that's at Arizona. Jordan Perryman graduated, played corner at Washington. Kavir Baines last year was a great nickel for us, graduated. He's going to play at Pitt for 1 year. To me, all those things are positives for us. And if we can grow a culture where guys stay for 3 or 4 years and help us build a really good team, and that helps us get them to where their goals are, I'm fine being the vehicle that helps them get there, as long as they come here with the right attitude and they respect UC Davis and play their butt off for us. I think I'm fine being that guy.
Tim Plough, UC Davis head coach, joining us here on Nuanez Now, ESPN Radio, or maybe you're tuning in on Skyline Sports. No matter how you're tuning into our Big Sky Spotlight, appreciate you for being here. When it comes to being out on the recruiting trail and talking to prospects, you guys have had some success, a lot of success over the last several years, but your best success this last year being the top 5 most of the year and making it to the final 8 of the playoffs. So does that resonate? I mean, how much does that help you just getting indoors, or how much can it impact recruiting?
No, I think it's great, obviously. I think the program itself, like I talked to you a year ago, I think we both have talked for a while about just how powerful this place can be. And, from a recruiting standpoint, because of the academics and how great of a school it is, because we have a $50 million facility and a lot of money pumping into the program, moving to the Mountain West down the road, that was announced by our athletic department for our other sports. I think it shows the directions of our program. So I think it's an exciting time. Winning is going to help a lot when it comes to recruiting and donors and getting people excited. So it was a huge first year in that sense of gaining some confidence, gaining some people that really want to help and continue to be a part of our program. And now the most difficult part is, how do you create sustained success, and how do you try to continue to be at the top of a tough conference like the Big Sky year in and year out? Can we be in that top 4 and make a run at this thing? And we know how difficult that is. So I think for us now, it's like, what does sustained success look like in this conference? And how do we build that after we lose a bunch of really good players? Can we come back with new players, grow them, develop them, and year in and year out be a team that people look at and say, hey, every year Davis is going to be a team that can win it, And so I think that's still something we're trying to build, but I think we're in the right direction for sure.
You were recently arrested, and now you're wondering, do I need to hire a criminal defense attorney? And the answer is yes, you do. This is not the time to gamble with your future and with your freedom. Here at Ryan & Miller, we have over 40 years of experience with criminal defense, and we take it very seriously that we protect our clients' rights. So if you have any questions and want to know how our team can help you, make sure to give us a call today.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll talk about sort of the future and some of the progress you guys made during spring, but I got to ask you about a couple of the guys that got pro shots, specifically Land Larson. You just mentioned him, but I was thinking if this was 2008 and he's going to the Patriots, I mean, my gosh, this guy's winning a Super Bowl ring next year. Like, that'd be such a great fit for him. I still think it's a great fit organizationally and just the way that they have always operated. But I think that he also, just because of his skill set, brings a unique talent to the NFL. I think he's got NFL stuff that's going to get him on the field pretty quick. What do you?
Yeah, I think we always kind of had him slotted as like a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. That was kind of even going into the season where people thought he was going to be, and he kind of had a unique draft story. So it's getting late in the draft, and we had talked to a couple teams leading up to the draft that were really interested. The Patriots were one of them. It got to about the 6th round there on the 3rd day. And he called me, and I thought he was calling me to tell me he was drafted, but he was calling me to tell me, hey, I've basically agreed to sign with the Patriots. And I said, well, hey, you could still get drafted. And he's like, yeah, if I get drafted, I get drafted. But if I don't, I'm going to go to the Patriots. They basically offered him the max free agent money. And they were pretty relentless at their pursuit at him the last week. I think they felt like they could draft the kid from Ohio State late, and they felt like teams were going to, maybe not swing at Land, and they could get away with not having to draft him. And they were smart that way. So they kind of scooped him up even before the draft was over. He was pretty much signed and sealed with the Patriots. And I think it's a perfect fit for him because a lot of respect for Vrabel and the type of leader and coach he is. And obviously his relationship with the Patriot way and how that works. Josh McDaniels is a guy that I've really looked at for a long time, and from an offensive standpoint, think he's as bright as anyone. And but if you look at historically, the Kevin Falks, the Rex Burkheads, the Danny Woodheads, these guys all look like Land Larson guys, right? Like guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield, that play on special teams, that can pass protect, that can get you, yards in the run game, can line up at wide receiver. So I think for that system in the McDaniels Patriots system, I think Land fits really well. And a lot of the stuff we do here carries over easily for him. So he's had a lot of success already early on in the mini camps. And I know he's really excited. But the great thing about Land is his humility. And he knows, like, hey, for me to make the team and to play in the NFL, he's going to have to be a special teams guy. And I think he's the type of guy that can play on all 4 special teams units and be a leader there. I mean, the guy led our team in tackles on the punt team, and he was one of the best players in the country, and he would kill me if I tried to take him off the punt team every week. So I think he's going to have a long career in the NFL, and I don't think he could have landed at a better place. I think Teddy Buchanan, same thing. I think the Ravens is a perfect fit for Teddy and the type of linebacker he is. I got to spend some time with John Harbaugh last summer and have a lot of respect for that organization. So really fired up for both guys. I think they landed in perfect places that are going to use their skill set well, and they're going to grow them well. And I think they're both going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, I was stoked for a lot of the Big Sky guys because I feel like a lot of them got good fits. I think Tommy Mellott and Chip Kelly's offense is a really
Great
good fit.
Yeah.
With Raiders, right? I think Junior Bergen in San Francisco with the
Great
way
fit.
He's got guys on that staff that know him. They want to use him how he's supposed to be. So I think that's really cool. Tim Plough, UC Davis joined us. So then trying to replace a guy like Land Larson, how do you start? How do you finish? How do you go about something like that?
Yeah, I think the important thing is, like, you're not going to replace Land Larson, just like you're not going to replace Keelan Doss, like you're not going to replace Tommy Mellott. Like those guys, you don't replace them. What you try to do is you try to create new great players, right? You try to grow new players and have them be the first version of them, right? So it's like, I feel really, one thing that was great about our spring is, man, our running back group is really deep. Jordan Fisher is a guy that played a little bit at the end of last season, had some great moments in the season. If you remember the Montana game, he got a good run there at the end of the game and had a good playoff run there for a couple of weeks. So really excited about Jordan Fisher. Really excited about Mateo Perez, who was a running back that played a lot for us last year. And then we got a young guy named Carter Vargas, who I think has a chance to be a star in the Big Sky as a redshirt freshman. So I think all three of those guys have a chance to be really talented backs for us. You're not going to replace Lan Larison, but I hope that maybe, you guys see the first Jordan Fisher or the first Carter Vargas, and you're like, man, this is another great player that Davis has developed, and now they're going to do it in their way. And I think they're really talented, so I'm excited for them this year for sure.
And obviously, the big story for Davis is the replacement of Miles Hastings, who's been such a stalwart at quarterback for you. He's also getting a pro opportunity going up north to play in the CFL, which I also think is a great opportunity for him. Maybe even hooking up with Keelan White from Montana. So both those guys going to Ottawa. That's pretty cool. But how do you go about that? I guess, first of all, what sort of clarity did spring ball give you just in terms of where you're at right now at quarterback?
Yeah, I think luckily, you get to that situation. We felt like going into camp, we had two guys that we really liked that could play for us. And the fear is like by the end of spring, are you going to be like, man, we got nobody that can play? But the truth is, I think we have two guys that can play, and they're both a little bit different. Grant Harper's a sixth-year senior for us, who's going to be in grad school. So similar to Miles, a guy that's been here a long time, knows the offense really well. Real accurate passer, probably a little bit more athletic than Miles. And he got a chance to play a little bit last year sometimes, some mop-up duty. Excited about him. And then Caden Pinnock is our redshirt freshman quarterback, local kid from Del Oro High School out here, also plays on the baseball team. He is a dynamic athlete, a guy that can really create, probably something we haven't had here in a long time. Reminds me of the Eric Barrier, Vernon Adams, Dakota Prukop type of guys. I know those are fantastic names. I'm not saying he's anywhere near those guys right now, but he's that mold. A guy that can run, can create off-schedule plays. And I thought he had a good camp too. So right now I think it's really either going with the older guy in Grant or going with the younger guy in Caden. Feel like we're going to probably know early on in fall camp, which way we're going to go with that. But feel really good that we can win with either guy. And I feel like we're bringing in some really talented young guys as well in the quarterback room. So I don't think we'll ever have a problem with great quarterback play at Davis, just our history and the type of recruits we can get at that position. I know we'll be able to play good football there.
When it comes to evaluating, when you have a quarterback battle going on, there's so many different things that go into it, right? Like understanding of the system and the offense, efficiency, leadership. How do you sort of weigh each factor when you're determining who's going to be